Why haven't you painted your skin black so people don't misrace you? Because trans black women don't owe you blackness. We don't owe anyone racial passing. I shouldn't have to alter my body to make other people comfortable with my identity.
We about to fact check this. First, if you mess with me, make sure to hit that follow button. This month we're celebrating Trans History and Black Business Month. Let's get it. What the hell is she talking about? First, this creator is basically saying since transgender people exist, she can be a transracial black woman. In fact, a lot of people from the right are identifying with groups that they don't really identify as to show the hypocrisy with trans people. And that doesn't make any sense. What we need to understand is that gender identity and racial identity are two different things. Gender identity is a sense of self, a presentation of yourself, or even self-expression. While racial identity focuses on historical context that affects you and your ancestry. Not to mention that being transracial is literally a choice while being transgender isn't. Now let's make this clear. Coming out as transgender is a choice, but being transgender is not a choice. And I think the right is constantly forgetting that an identity is not just you announcing that you're something. You literally have to be that. You wearing "I'm black and I'm proud" t-shirt doesn't make you black. It makes you a culture vulture.
Why is it that nobody ever talks about these 7 million people living in slavery in Africa today? Like, shouldn't we be spending more energy on helping people who actually could benefit from that awareness? Well, it's important to remember history. I agree. It's important to talk about how inhumane the transatlantic slave trade was. But even with that discussion, why not mention the fact that nearly all of those slaves were captured by other Africans to sell to the Europeans? And what about the other slave trades? Like, why does the Arab slave trade never get brought up? You know, the one that lasted even longer than the transatlantic slave trade? The thing is, I think a lot of people really aren't interested in an honest, comprehensive discussion about slavery. People just want to selectively use historical grievances as a way to justify their modern hatred, specifically their modern anti-white racism. They cherry pick only examples from history that frame white people as evil. They need to believe that white people are the only ones capable of evil because that's the only way to justify their specific hatred towards white people.
So I have been dating a black man for the past several years, and I thought it would be time for my dad to meet him. So I texted and asked him if he would meet, never responded. So finally I was able to FaceTime him and he said absolutely not. He got really upset, saying that he doesn't accept this. He wants nothing to do with meeting this man. And he just kept saying over and over again, no black people, no black people. The following day, I asked him again. I thought maybe he just needed some time to process things. And again, he got even angrier than he did the day before and told me, no black people, no black people. They're no good. I don't want you to do anything with him. Cut it off. Cut your losses, you can find somebody else. And he hung up the phone on me. There's going to be a point in time where I ultimately will have to choose between my parents and my life. And it's looking more like I'm going to have to cut everybody out of my life. I don't know what it is, but my parents, when I talk to them, they make me second guess everything that I do. When I held them at a distance, I was more confident. I was able to focus and just be happy. But every time they come back into my life, I feel like I've reverted back to being a 6-year-old with no direction in life. I feel lost. I'm second guessing everything that I've done in the past several years.
Let me back up for a minute. I want to go back to her before we deep dive into it. So, number one, are you telling me you didn't know what your parents' sentiment was before you got into this whole relationship? Are you telling me that you're confused about the position that they are in or the position that they are taking when it comes to your relationship? You the one that said that you just called them, all right? Now, I mean, come on, y'all. Let's just be 100%. She's saying that she's feeling like her parents is taking her back to a certain time, but then at the same time, she's the person that called her.
So I have been dating a black man for the past several years, and I thought it would be time for my dad to meet him. So I texted and asked him if he would meet, never responded. So finally, I was able to FaceTime him, and he said absolutely not. He got really upset, saying that he doesn't accept this. He wants nothing to do with meeting this man, and he just kept saying over and over again, no black people, no black people. The following day, I asked him again. I thought maybe he just needed some time to process things.
Process things? You must be mad. If you want to date outside your race and you know your family is racist, you only have two options. You either cut your family off or you stop wasting that man's time. What the f are we talking about here? If you are willing to date outside your race knowing that your family is racist, then you must be willing to cut them off. Because anyone who comes out and says, I didn't know my family was racist is a fucking lie. We all know exactly what our families are like. So if your family is racist or they do not like a certain race or they prefer you to be with a certain race or your own culture or whatever, you already know this shit, especially at your big age. I'm sorry, the fact that you're even giving him an opportunity to process this tells me everything I need to know. Do not date people outside of your race if you know your family are racist. No shade to this creator, but honestly, this is just an ongoing thing that I see in so many different communities. And I don't want to sound like a dick, I'm so sorry, but I went on this girl's page and she has a shitty relationship with her parents anyway. Cut them off. I don't understand why you came to the internet to tell us that you are contemplating whether or not you're going to cut them off. What is happening? I'm sorry. What are we doing here? If you're not willing to cut your family off, do not date a man outside of your fucking race. There is no reason for him to be subjected to your family's racism. Keep that in-house or you cut them off. That's literally your only two options. The fact that you're even contemplating, like this girl, she's contemplating and she's like, oh, you know, I guess I'm leaning toward leaning? Bomba. Listen, delete their number now. What are you talking about? Cut them off, block, delete, like family, not family. Who the fuck cares at that point? Why would you even want to be associated with any of that if you love your man? I'm not getting it. I'm getting irritated now. So let me just wrap this up and make it clear one more time. If you know your family is racist, which 100% you will know, do not date a man outside of your race unless you are willing to cut your family off. No questions, no nothing. Done.
Yo, honestly, seeing a comment like this in the morning is not what I needed. Because you're acting like if Japanese people are not known for their perverted culture. Like, don't even get me started with the running joke of not being able to watch anime in your living room. Not to mention the weird obsession they have with children. And you're acting like if Japanese people are not known for having the most vicious, wild, heinous, true crimes out there. Like, may I remind you that there was a literal cannibal that was praised in Japan. Like, that guy was a celebrity until he died. And yes, saying that a black African is probably an illegal immigrant is racist, especially because after moving to Japan myself, I saw what it's like to actually be an immigrant as a black person. And despite being Canadian with African roots, I was able to speak with so many immigrants here in Canada that are African, and I got to learn so many inspiring stories of how they came to Canada in the first place. So to minimize all of their hard work and call them illegal immigrants is insanely offensive. Like, I did not need to wake up to all of this nonsense. And don't even think of saying, no, I was just talking about some black people. The fact that you're commenting that on that video shows that you are agreeing with the post that I stitched. And the fact that it's coming from black people too is so disappointing. It really be your own people. So you can go ahead and get off my page and not come back. And to whoever liked your comment, unless if it's you who liked your own comment, can also get off my page. The choice is yours. You have 24 hours to block me. Otherwise, I will block you myself. Because I'm really not about to deal with some nonsense like this. And I don't want nobody to bash this person. I know that racism and deluluism is an illness that needs to be treated, and that's okay. I do hope you get the treatment you deserve. Have a nice day.
There's a certain kind of racism that only black women face. Do you guys know the trend, oh Mohammed, you're going home and it's a video of them mogging? Everyone glazes the person doing the mogging, whether they're brown, white, but as soon as it's a black person doing it, somehow there's some sort of problem. I saw a comment and it was just horrible. Let me put it up here. It was genuinely horrible. And I got to thinking that, like, even the UKB stuff, that was just straight racism. How many guys will you ask and the first thing will say is, oh, I will never go for a black girl. It's just the way it's said, as if there's some specimen or not human, and genuinely no other race faces this. And don't start bringing up exceptions, because that's like me saying Black Lives Matter and someone else saying all lives matter. Well, obviously all lives do matter, but black people are being targeted specifically the same way it's black women who are being targeted specifically. And it's just black women, because black men in some societies, they're fetishized. You will never hear someone say, oh, black guys aren't my type. You know what I mean? It's weird, man. It's not trendy to hate on black men, but it's trendy to hate on black women. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I just find it really weird.
I just want to let this fact be known that was known to me as a younger man, and I refuse to believe it because I didn't have the intelligence level to process it, but I'm going to give it to you. The reason that a lot of white men are racist towards black men is because they feel inferior, and they would be right. I mean, we're talking about the same people that we enslaved in this country for hundreds and hundreds of years and then didn't give them any rights and made them fight tooth and nail for every right that they ever got. And they're still right here next to us doing the same shit that we're doing. And you feel that inferiority. Bro, it was literally common knowledge that was taught to us by adults, and we all knew this to be true, that the only reason that black men jumped higher than us or ran faster than us is because they had an extra muscle in their leg. Bro, we really came up with that just so that we can cope. You feel inferior because the people that we enslaved and oppressed for hundreds of years still made it eye level with us and more. And what did they make from all that? After hundreds of years of the most heinous violence of enslavement, they made beautiful music and beautiful culture and a beautiful community, and they made America as great as it is. And what did white people do in our white system at the end of that and still try to do? We try to take them all and cram them into the most poverty-stricken area, give them no resources, and then blame them for their bad living conditions. A black woman told me when I was a young man, and it pissed me off at the time because I was too dumb to understand, that white men have the highest rate of masculine fragility. We are so insecure, and the second that we feel shamed or embarrassed, we become very dangerous. Tell me the lie. Show me where the lie's at. Because make no mistake, people, I'm not talking just from something I heard from a video. I'm talking from experience. I am from the predominantly white town, the very small, very predominantly white town. I grew up listening to my grandfather, my friends, everybody saying the N-word. I said the N-word growing up. I didn't just have these ideologies with me from day one. These are things that I had to unlearn first from where I was from and relearn from people who knew better, smarter people with bigger worlds to live in. And I had to go through a lot of embarrassing moments, like the one time that I told this black girl that you would easily be able to tell a white person and a black person apart, even if their skin color was the same, because of their facial features. And here I am all this time later with the entire internet saying that I look like an albino black man. Where's the lie? And I really like when you guys say that. So listen up, men. These are your two options when it comes to feeling inferior to black men. One, you can deny it, build the resentment, and make up rumors and lies about black people to make you feel better, which a lot of you do. Or you can do what a good man does when he finds a man who has the things and attributes and characteristics that you want, you model yourself after him. You take all the good from that man, you leave the bad, and you build a better version of you. Build a better version of you, not make less of somebody else to feel better.
My father is racist as I grew up watching him call people the N-word with a hard R on numerous occasions, not just black people either. He just would use that as an offensive term of language. He ended up disowning me because I have 2 mixed children, and he called my kids tar babies. And now that same man is sitting in a mental hospital contemplating suicide. He has absolutely no friends, no family, nobody that supports him, nobody that loves him, nobody to pick him up. He's in a mental hospital because he has nowhere else to go, and he's contemplating killing himself over a woman, over some type of breakup or something. This just goes to show that the people that are racist, the people that are using this derogatory language, the people that hate others for no reason, the people who are just filled with so much hatred and anger towards other people for literally no reason, and it spews out of them, it's because they're awful inside. It's because they're rotting inside. It's because they hate themselves. Somebody who is filled with that much evil hates themselves, and you have to remind yourself of these people that surround you all the time. And we let them tear us down so much because we have a good heart and we care about people, and we can never imagine being this way to other people, and it's because they're literally fucking evil. Like, we could never imagine doing these things to other people because our heart, our mind, our morals would never ever allow us to treat people in the way that these types of people treat people. And it's a them problem, not a you problem.
Get ready with me while I tell you some of the most racist things I have ever seen growing up in South Carolina. Quick disclaimer, I do not condone any of the actions, and in many cases I literally tell the person flat out don't do that, but this is just what I've seen. Getting right into it, I mentioned this a while ago, but I still think it's so important to bring up. We were talking about the Holocaust, and one of the girls said that she would have a Holocaust for black people. Another one I can think of is there was a video that went viral, and it was a girl from SC saying, oh, did no one's parents ever talk about how the blue birds go with the blue birds, the red birds go with the red birds? And I actually got to experience this firsthand outside of a church. I was talking to this girl, and I was talking about, this guy I was going on a date one, not important, but he was Mexican. She kind of looked at me and she was like, you really shouldn't date outside your race. And I was like, excuse me? And I just remember being so floored, and I was so mad. I was like, what are you talking about? And she's like, well, no, it's fine that he's a Mexican, but if he was darker, it'd be a problem. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you just shouldn't date darker. And I was like, but he's Mexican. Like, it's not important to me, but like, why? Like, I was so flabbergasted. Another one I remember, this was actually with a guy I was talking to, and we were debating about politics, and he looked me dead in my eyes and asked me, you know, what do black people contribute to our society? And I called him racist. He got really mad at me, and it started a whole argument, and that guy is blocked. No longer talk to that man. Obviously, I don't tolerate that. And this is another one. I remember one time I had a crush on a guy. He was a black guy. I told like a mutual friend about it, and we were in the car, just a bunch of girls, right? And she like brought it up, like, you know, first of all, bad behavior as well, but like at the time I was like, okay, whatever, it's funny. And one of the girls looks at me so appalled, and she's like, you like da-da-da? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, but he's black. I was like, okay. Like, another thing that another thing that I don't know if this is significant, I don't know if other people do this in their group chats, but they will send Ku Klux Klan images to each other frequently. It'll be like old time, and it won't be like, you know, it'll be sometimes AI generated stuff. I've seen it. It'll be AI generated stuff of Ku Klux Klan, or sometimes it'll be just like actual images of the KKK on like Ferris wheels, burning crosses, and they send that to each other, and they like joke like, oh, that's my clan, you know. Maybe I just grew up around atrocious white kids. And another quick disclaimer, not everybody in the South is like this. Like I said, maybe this is just because I'm in a really small SC town and I went to a predominantly white school, but like this behavior was quite appalling, and obviously I don't condone any of it. It was just disgusting, and like, I don't know. I kind of want to make this video to just like there are areas of America that are still like this, that are so backwards in the way they think, the way they speak, and how disgusting it is when you finally shine a light on it. And the funny thing is when you shine a light on it and tell these people like this is wrong, they get all defensive and they're like, no, you don't understand. It's just a joke. Or it's like, oh no, I didn't really mean it. And it's like,
yes, I've always known my parents are racist. From the age of 5, my parents have instilled in me that I was not allowed to have African American or Puerto Rican friends. So I spent my entire life hiding those type of friendships or relationships so that I wouldn't get in trouble. Somebody commented on my video that Indian people see blacks as the bottom of the barrel, and that is exactly how they view African American and Puerto Ricans. They think that they are substandard. They view them as hoodlums. They just don't see them as successful. I was always confused as to why my parents felt this way, because all of my interactions with African Americans and Puerto Ricans have always been pleasant. I've learned a lot from them. I admire so much of their culture. I didn't view them the same way as my parents did. I don't think it's fair to say that just because my parents are racist that I have to limit myself from these type of relationships and friendships that I have built over the years. That's their problem. It's not mine. I love my partner and I love his family. I think they're super loving. I feel that sometimes they're better than my parents.